Hello, and welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a bit of a different video, again, than what I normally do, and I'll get into a little bit more why, but, in short, I have graduated college! Yippee! But over the course of my time in college, I have taken 4 different art classes. So I kind of wanted to look through and show off some of the things that I've made over the past 3 years. Starting with the sketchbook here. There aren't a lot of things in here. For the class I needed this for, I had to basically tear the pages out to turn them in. So what's in here is just a bunch of loose artwork. But yeah, these are all from my Drawing 2 class that I took this past semester. I did not take Drawing 1, like I should have. The teacher kind of let me in, even though I hadn't, because I was going to graduate and desperately wanted to take more art classes. But yeah, let's take a look at this. Yep, that's just newsprint to protect these from bleeding over onto each other. Stay. Okay, so this is the first thing that I made for my Drawing 2 class. This is colored pencil. The assignment was to pick a fruit and some toys and draw that with colored pencil. There were more requirements, but I forget what. So I chose this lemon. I love this lemon, as well as my little pony figure. I don't know the name of this one. I'm more familiar with G4, Friendship is Magic, because that's the show that I watch, but I do have some of these older toys, and my little cheer bear. So yeah, this was the first drawing I did for that class. I think it turned out pretty neat. I was already pretty familiar with colored pencil, because I like to use it a lot, in my regular art, so this was fun for me to draw. But I still got to learn some new things, which is great. Alright. I don't have a bunch of things to say about everyone, but more newsprint. Okay. This is a lemon. For our first few assignments for this class, we were focusing on our fruit. This was the third assignment we did, and it was basically to draw a close-up of our fruit that we had chosen. I think this turned out pretty cool. This is chalk pastel, so I don't want to touch it a lot. I forget if I put spray fixative on this, so this is kind of messy. But yeah, here is it. I think it's pretty cool. I like all the color variation that I did. And then the next project that we did was basically to draw the evil sibling to that project. So this is how that turned out. I chose to do it in purple because it's opposite to yellow, and then I was trying to make it darker and more ominous, and I was really struggling to get the chalk pastel to be darker. My cat is being silly over there. Her name is Sweetie Belle. Aww. Yeah, I was struggling to get the colors darker with what I had, and then someone in my class gave me the tip of using the spray fixative to make it darker, so I ended up going so overboard with that. This thing is covered in spray, and yet it'll still come off on my hands. Look how much. So yeah, that's another one I don't want to touch a lot because it's chalk pastel. This is one of the last ones we did for this class. Let me get this from another angle, because I drew it in this angle. But yeah, this was supposed to draw, kind of buildings and, architecture stuff. From, different perspectives. Yeah, I think it turned out pretty cool. This one, I kind of just, did it. I didn't really, struggle too much with it. If you'll see over here, there is a little cat. I really like this little cat. Yeah, this is pretty neat. I think this is the last one in this book. So we're gonna close this, and then we're gonna move around my room, because I have a lot of my stuff displayed. Let me fix that real quick. Actually, let me set this down. Behold my dirty carpet. I'm sorry. Okay, anyway. So, we're going to come up here. I'm going to get out of the lighting. This was the second project that I made for Drawing 2. Yeah, so far we've had a lot of Drawing 2 projects. There will be other things from other classes, but this is the second thing we made. This is probably one of my favorite things I made in that class. We were supposed to do, like, another still life, like the first one, focusing on our, like, toys and our fruit. There's more toys, and we have, like, an actual background in this one. So I drew, like, my dresser and, like, my mirror and everything in my room. And I added this little squirrel guy. I love him. He's, like, my favorite part of this. I just love how I drew the little squirrel. And the shading, I think he's really cool. I'm also a big fan of how I drew the guitar. Heck yeah. This one up here was not for a specific class, but we had, like, an art gallery thing at my college where they were, like, accepting submissions from students in the community. So I was making things to submit, and I did get into the art gallery. I didn't win anything, which is fine. But this is, like, a little collage thing of one of my characters, Thea. I had a lot of fun with this one. I won't get into it in this video, but I have, like, lore for her, so a lot of this kind of, like, ties into that. I think that's everything on this side of the room, so we're gonna say hi to the cat. Do you want Mousy, sweetie? Oh, good girl. Alright, we're gonna move to this side of the room. Over here on the bed, we have my crochet stuff in progress. We have these, like, headbands. I have to put strings on them, but I'm making little headband bandana things. And this is a little strawberry bag. This is unrelated to school, but, like, I'm working on crochet now. I kind of want to sell it. We have a Monster High painting over here, unrelated to school. Up here, we have all my speech trophies. But this is the last project we did for Drawing 2. This is the only one I bought a frame for because I'm poor. But we had to do a kind of, like, symbolic self-portrait thing. So I made a lot of, like, changes to myself, and this is just kind of how I, like, see myself. And things that are symbolic to me. Like, I'm a big fan of space. And Luna moths. And the fire is kind of a whole thing. But yeah. The only thing I really have on the desk is this. I guess I have something down there too, but okay. This is something I made for my 3D design class. So I'm kind of move around from different angles while I talk. But this was made out of, like, poster paper and acrylic paint. And also all the little, like, flowers and moths in there are, like, printer paper. But we were supposed to make, like, shapes out of this, like, poster paper and then, like, turn it into, like, an interesting design. We had to do, like, 5 shapes, and there were some other requirements. And I kind of just, like, went nuts because we were allowed to use color now and, like, add things to it. So, like, I was getting really interested in collages from my intro to art class. So I really wanted to do some of that. So I, like, pasted all of these flowers and the moths and I had a lot of fun with it. I was going to like put some like red paper to look like chains around it, but my printer stopped working like while I was finishing this, and like it was due the next day, and it was already like 2 in the morning. Anyway, down here, not for a class, but this is another collage thing I made for my cat, who is sadly no longer with us. He is my son. His name is Bashful, and I love him. I miss him every day. Anyway. And now we're going to move up here, where the rest of my work is. So this is my little display cabinet, where I have, like, a bunch of little trinkets and stuff. I have dolls, I have my artwork, I have other random objects. I kind of don't know where to start. I'm not gonna, like, talk about everything on the shelves. I'm gonna mostly focus on art that I have made, and, like, particularly art that I've made for college classes. I'm gonna start at the top, because I can't reach it, and my arms are gonna get tired. Up here, we have a watercolor painting that I submitted to that art gallery of my other main OC character, Astra. Yeah, I stole my name from her because I love it so much. I just like the name Astra. I also have my Toralei doll, my N figure, Pokemon figures. This is a little clay pot I made for my ceramics class. There's going to be a lot of these on this shelf. I managed to take the ceramics class just before they stopped being able to offer it because the teacher moved to Australia. So last semester it was available. This is just a cute little pinch pot. What else we got up here? This is a little rocket that I made for my physics class in high school. This back here, this like black thing, was for my 3D design class. I would get it out, but I think I would break things. But it was for my 3D design class. It was a project where we had to work with cylinders, and I was like struggling to figure out how to like attach them without having seams, and like a lot of them I just like wrapped them so they have a seam. But he kind of challenged us, the teacher, to like come up with more interesting and creative ways to attach them. So I decided to kind of like do a basket weaving type thing for a lot of these cylinders. So it's like foam, like thin foam, and some of them are covered in like Cricut paper. And I just like cut it into strips and like wove it around like paper towel rolls, and I really like how it turned out. It's really cool. Over here we have a little pot inspired by Yu-Gi-Oh, as well as the only like G1 Monster High figure I currently own. Anyway, but this is actually Raku clay. So Raku clay is a little different from your like average clay that you would see in a ceramic studio. It is, I don't know exactly what it's made of that's different, but like you fire it in a different way. So most clay you fire in like a kiln, right? But for this, you like take it outside and you put it in like a weird metal tube, and you get it super hot. You get it really hot in the glaze. And it also has like a special glaze, but I'll get into that in a second. So like you glaze it and you put it in this like special container and get it super hot. And then you put it in these like other containers full of like newspaper and like paper and stuff, and it like catches on fire. So it's like really a whole spectacle to like watch. And then you put it in cold water to cool it off. And it's supposed to give the glaze this like really cool metallic effect that's like different colors, and you never really know what you're gonna get, and it's really cool. I did not finish my pot in time. We did like a whole little field trip to get the glaze fired, but I didn't finish mine in time and get it fired the first time in the kiln. So this is just regular glaze, but it is the raku clay, which creates a kind of interesting, like, bumpy texture. I do still like how it turned out. I'm still sad about that, that I didn't get to do the raku glaze. But I think it's neat. The little eye is inspired by Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm a big fan of the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, even though I don't know how to play the cards. Anyway, my arm's getting tired. Let's move down to the next shelf. We have my plaster gauze plague mask that I made in high school, I think. My Ancient Mew card that my beloved partner got for me for my birthday. And we also have some ceramics. So this little mushroom thing, and also it's really tiny, but there's a little pot right here that my little polymer clay flapjack is in. It's behind the seagull. Those are also pinch pots that I made for ceramics. Our first project for that ceramics class was to just make a bunch of pinch pots. I think we had to make 6, so these are another 2. And then this frog is one of them. That log, like, tree stump thing with the ladybug on it, I did not make. It is made by one of my friends, either in junior high or high school, and they didn't want it, so, like, I took it. But the pumpkin is made by me in my ceramics class. I think we made him we were supposed to create, like, a sphere by making 2 pinch pots and, like, smushing them together and then, like, carving into it. I forget what other people ended up making, but I made a little pumpkin. He's very cute. This little frog I think I made in high school. This, like, wavy thing back here is from my 3D design class. It is, like, a cereal plane sculpture, and if you, like, turn around, you can see that it's made by, like, individual layers of foam core. That was the assignment, to, like, basically make something like this, like a layered art piece using the foam core. It turned out really cool. My inspiration for this one was kind of like lava lamp goop, but other people thought it looked like a whale or a wave or a dinosaur or like a swan or something, or a lapras. I think it's, like, really cool that for a lot of the projects we made in that class, we were supposed to work kind of, like, non-representationally, but it's like everybody kind of can see different things in it and be like, oh, I think this looks like this. So I think that's really cool. I have this little painting of my cat, BB. This pot is a little bit broken because my ceiling collapsed at some point on this shelf and broke a couple of my things, so the leaf is broken off, but by snail fixes it. But this is a little strawberry pot for my ceramics class. This was, I think, like a midterm project, and I really like strawberries and Luna moths, so that is what I made. It is a coil pot. So basically how you make those is you roll out little tubes of clay. If you've ever played with, like, Play-Doh, you probably can, like, picture what I mean. But you, like, roll out long tubes, and then you kind of spiral them upwards, and then you can either leave them coiled or smooth them out, and it creates a little pot. Down here is another coil pot where you can actually see the coils, because I didn't smooth it out. I think that's from high school, but we'll get down to that shelf later. And then when I finished the strawberry, I thought it needed something, so I added the Luna moth. And they were out of all of the colors of glaze that I needed for the Luna moth. So what I did for the green, and you can kind of see that it has a bit of a weird drippy texture, was, like, I thought it was all kind of dried at the bottom, so I thought maybe if I mixed water in it, it would rehydrate it and make it more glaze, and that didn't entirely work. Like, it's on there, but it created this weird drippy pattern, and I actually really like how that turned out. I kind of wish I knew how to do that on purpose, because it just looks so cool to me. But yeah, that's this shelf. And then moving downwards, this colorful one back here I did not make. And there's another one somewhere that I did not make because, you know how I said, like, the ceramics teacher was, like, moving and so there wouldn't be any more ceramics? Well, she had a lot of, like, pottery that she had made that was, like, lying around, and she wasn't planning on transporting it, so she just, like, asked everybody at the end of the semester if they wanted it, and so I grabbed a couple things and other people took stuff. Yeah, I'm like running out of room on this shelf for all of my trinkets, so I put my, like, J3 Frankie in here. I like Frankie, she's one of my favorites. This little pot I did make. It has a tail that kind of wraps around, but I don't think you can see it. But this is another pinch pot modeled after my cat baby. I love her because she's so angry. We have a couple things over here. So this is plaster. So what we did to make these was we took some, like, plaster and, like, mixed it with water and poured it into a bucket to, like, pour it into the mold. And then after a few days, we unmolded it, took it out of the bucket, and we were supposed to, like, carve it. Ooh, it's like it's less dusty now. Yeah, when you take it out, it's, like, still, like, somewhat soft and really moldable, so it's like you could kind of dig at it with a spoon or your fingernail, but I think it's, like, hardened up a bit in the last couple weeks, which is pretty neat. But yeah, we were supposed to just, like, carve into the plaster, and it was really fun. It reminded me of woodworking a lot. We were supposed to have, like, some negative space somewhere where we kind of just, like, dug a hole through it. So I put that little hole through there and kind of had this piece look like it was coming out of the bottom and wrapping around. We were also supposed to have areas that looked organic and geometric and areas that looked rough and smooth. So I have that contrast between these areas, if you can, like, see. And then I added the spots, like the holes, because I was getting a lot of air bubbles. So I just, like, put more bubbles in it to make it look intentional. There's my Groudon. You can't see it very well, but back here is a little clay pot that I did make. I completely forget if I made it for high school or ceramics. I think I made it for high school, but it's like a little tree pot inspired by the one I got from my friend. I think it's pretty cool. It has a lid. I don't know what's in there, and I'm not going to move my figures around right now. In front here, we have this little sculpture. This is a construction assembly made out of, like, found, broken, discarded objects. So I'll let you get kind of a look at that. I'm sorry if, like, there's weird shadows, but, like, I kind of want you to see inside and all the stuff in there. We were supposed to, like, have it be some kind of sculpture that's, like, not really one thing that's, like, clear immediately, but, like, kind of maybe, like, tells a bit of a story or is symbolic of something. So the idea I had in mind for this was kind of like a repression or imprisonment of, like, childhood wonder and memories and stuff. So you can see inside there's, like, a bunch of, like, childhood toys. Like, there's, like, an old Tinkerbell figure I had that has no arms anymore. If the camera would focus, there's some marbles and beads. There's a little, like, dog or bear thing I found on the ground. There's, like, one of those, like, heart necklaces. This black part, the bars are, like, part of a whisk. And then I put a bunch of, like, necklace chains around it. And then, I don't know what the butterfly or moth symbolizes, but that's kind of just one of my things that I put on everything. And I thought it was really cool. That's made of, like, some pieces of one of our broken bowls. Over here is, like, another high school project. A little snail. I love little snails. This up here is from ceramics again. I believe this is another coil pot that I made. It is very large, but it's a little kitty. It's a little calico cat. It's in the back, so you can't really see it, but it has a tail. And then these are flowers. These are fake flowers I found on the side of the road one day and brought home. But yeah, I really like this kitty. He's cool. Probably one of the biggest ceramic things I've ever made. No, that is the biggest ceramic thing I ever made. Okay, and now to the bottom shelf. Down here, we have more Monster High. We have Kirby with a knife. I have 2 here and 2 over here, but our final for the ceramics class was to make these little mugs. We had to make like a set of mugs on the pottery wheel, which I really struggled with. I had only done like hand building before, so I really struggled with the pottery wheel. But I managed to make these 4 little mugs. And they're very cute. There's a little set of kitty mugs. That bowl back there with the flowers is also a thing made by my teacher that she was giving away. Here is Miku. I did not make her. I just really like her. I love Miku. She's great. Over here is a little slab pot. So how you make those is you basically roll out like slabs of clay and then like kind of attach them and fold them. So this is to look like those like strawberry cakes. There's a little whipped cream on it and a strawberry in the middle. I think it's really cute. I like it. And here's a final pinch pot. I think it was meant to look like a fox or something, but it's kind of the most like misshapen and weird looking ones. And then this is the coil pot from high school. And the only Ever After High doll I own. Yeah, that is all of the things that I have made for my college classes. So I'm just gonna kind of like glance at this shelf again while I keep yapping. Basically, the reason that I haven't been posting as much, it's not just that digital art and like art in general takes a long time to make. Like, honestly, if I have a design going, I can pump out a character design in like a couple hours. It's just that like I've been really unmotivated to make digital art. It's not that I'm art blocked or don't want to make art. It's like mostly just digital art. Because I've been having so much fun these past few semesters doing traditional art and learning different mediums and practicing mixed media. And I feel like I've really developed my skills and I've been enjoying it a lot. But I feel like I'm less and less excited to do digital art. So going forward, I think I am still going to continue doing the character designs. I feel like I have to finish them. I'm not going to pressure myself to post them super often. I think at the very beginning of this channel, I kind of really wanted to push myself to post something every 2 weeks, but that just like wasn't feasible for me because I can get like burnt out really easily. So I'm not going to try and post them really often, but I do intend to finish all of the character design series that I have started, or at least do as many characters as I feel like doing and that I feel like I have designs in mind for and ideas for. But I'm not going to do them as often. And I would also like to start doing more traditional art for YouTube because I feel like I've been enjoying that a lot more. So I kind of want to do that. I don't know how because I don't know how to like record that, but it's something I want to do. So I'm gonna give that a shot. See if I can record some traditional art. See where that takes me. If you are interested in that or still just want to see me finish all of the character design series that I have started, then stick around. So I think that's all I have for this video. Say goodbye to my cat. Aw, you're so cute. Bye-bye.